My brother in Christ, listen, I implore you, if you are currently considering downloading a dating app and wasting your goddamn time, please do not do so, at least until after you watch this video, because in it, we're going to go over the top 3 reasons why you are wasting your time, energy, and resources on dating apps and exactly what you should be doing instead if you want 2024 to be filled with more romance, love, relationships, sex, whatever it is you want, right? Just stay tuned, watch this video until its completion, and I'll promise you'll have that and more. Okay, so dating apps. Why do I say avoid them? Dating apps have been a scourge on society since their inception. And this is coming from somebody who has relative success with them. Just a little background on me. I met my ex on Tinder, the mother of my child on Tinder, roughly 8 years ago. And that was been back when Tinder was brand new. It was pretty much the only dating app on the scene, at least the only one that like regular people were using. Like I didn't know anyone using Match.com, eHarmony, or Plenty of Fish and shit like that. So we met on Tinder, did what we do, end up getting into a relationship, having a child, being in a relationship for 8 years, and then in the end of 2022, ended it, or beginning of 2022. So I was thrusted back into the single world, the land of sad men and women. In January 2023, and I began dating while being advised by my coach. So during this time, you know, I'm getting a lot of experience. I'm getting my feet wet and getting more adjusted to this new version of dating, which is way different than how it was back when I met my ex. Of course, for me to start dating, I just hopped on the apps. You know, I downloaded Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, and had success. Ended up going on a lot of dates, having a lot of success with the apps. And while I was able to get a lot of dates, I immediately noticed a lot of problems with the app. And the first problem is going to be the first issue that we list as to why you should stay away from dating apps. And that is because it is the home to the lowest quality women. The women on dating apps are, listen, I don't mean to say that all women who are on dating apps are low quality. Obviously, that's not true. But a vast majority of the women that you'll find on this app, on these apps, you don't want, bro. Like, trust me, you do not want these women. Listen, I went on maybe 25 to 30 first dates in 2023. And out of all of those women that I've dated, only one, I would say, had potential for like anything long term. And she was somebody I knew from high school, so you can't even really count her. Well, I would say out of the 25 to 30 women that I went on dates with in 2023, roughly 20 of them came from dating apps. And here's the issues you're going to deal with on dating apps. One, because of the paradox of choice, you're going to get ghosted a lot, and there's going to be a lot of false positives. Out of those 25 or 20-ish women that I dated, it required me matching with no fewer than like 120 women, bro. 120, 130 women. I had to match and create conversations with hella women just to convert 20 or so on a date. That is a huge waste of time. That is a huge waste of time. But you have to understand, you got to understand the landscape, right? If you go to the art of war, Sun Tzu, you got to understand the landscape, understand the terrain. In a dating app context, these women, if you go on a date with a woman and you ask her to take a look at her dating app just to tickle your fancy, bro, you're going to see this chick has no fewer than like 1,000 likes. And I mean, even the chicks who are mid, let me be clear, even the ones who are mid have like 1,000 likes on these apps, man. So it's like, you can't really game your way out of that. There's a lot of people creating content on this, on YouTube and Twitter, on social media, telling you about how to game people on apps, what to say in text message, and that has its place. But bro, at the end of the day, shorty is matching with hella dudes. You're not going to be able to really stand apart unless like the timing is impeccable and you happen to be one of the best options that she's entertaining at that moment. And if she's like an 8, 9, or 10, the odds are very low you're the best option she's entertaining at that moment. So you're going to deal with a lot of time wasters. Not only people who probably do want to meet you, but just you got quickly replaced by another guy, but you're also going to deal with women who are attention farmers. And this is defined by women who have no intention of meeting up with anybody, who are just siphoning off the energy and attention from men, which is like crack to women, by the way, and just using dating apps as a ego boost. So if you want your time to be wasted, get on the dating apps. If you don't want your time to be wasted, focus on another strategy, which I'll share at the end of this video. I would also add that another reason why I believe women on dating apps to be of a lower quality is because out of all those dates I said I went on with women on dating apps, all of them had attachment issues. All except for like one. So out of 25 or so dates I went on in 2023, first dates, 20 of them came from dating apps, and 19 of those women had attachment issues. And the vast majority of those women with attachment issues had avoidant attachment. So if you know anything about attachment styles, avoidant attachment is 100% not the attachment style you want to deal with. Listen, anyone who talks about insecure attachment styles, avoidant attachment style is always the one that gets shat upon because it's the worst one to have. So I'm sitting here dealing with all these women. I'm seeing a lot of them are just fucking guarded, and it's because they have avoidant attachment. So if you want to deal with more insecure women, if you want to deal with women who absolutely don't have, you know, their shit together, who aren't really secure, who probably have all the trappings of success, but like mentally they're psychologically fucked, then deal with dating apps. The second reason why you should avoid dating apps is because you're not even putting your best foot forward. Listen, gentlemen, y'all have to understand exactly how women dictate who they're going to be attracted to. You have to understand how attraction is created. Women are not like us, you know, they're not like us. So what I mean by that is, for men, 9 times out of 10, we're going to lead with like what we see. If you're a physically attractive woman, you got our attention. You know what I mean? We may even view you as being our wife just because, you know, you look a certain way. But women aren't necessarily wired like us. Like, yeah, they like physically attractive dudes, sure. But there's a lot more wiggle room with women when it comes to that, man. Like, if you're a guy who's not necessarily your type, as long as she doesn't find you to be hideous, if your personality and energy and vibe is one that she really rocks with, attraction can 100% be cultivated. Because women value intangible qualities higher than they value aesthetics. You see what I'm saying? They really only look at aesthetics as a signal for potential intangible qualities. You see what I'm saying? So if you got a good sense of humor, if you're witty, have confidence, are smooth, you know what I mean? If you have some of these qualities, like, you can 100% take a chick who's a maybe and then like polarize her to be a 100% yes. And when you play the dating app game, you're essentially being reduced to your physicality, to your physical level of attractiveness, your pre-selection. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not a Chad or a Tyrone, as they say, you're not going to fare well. You know, because even if you make a profile that's like really dialed in, really charming, witty, engaging, compelling, all that kind of stuff. And believe me, I've helped many men create those type of profiles. It's part of the reason why my profile performs so well. Even if you have a profile that's really dialed in, if you don't pass the visual test, she won't even see it. Because think about it, when she's on an app, especially something like Tinder or Bumble, which has like a swipe feature, if she's on an app, if she doesn't like your first picture, she's out of there. You see what I'm saying? If she's on Hinge and she doesn't like your primary photo, she's not going to scroll to be like, well, maybe his personality will be his saving grace. Like, nah, you're out of there, bro. Women are looking to disqualify. Again, she has like 1,000 likes she can sift through. She don't have time to sit here and really consume every single person who's showing her interest. She has to engage in like a very quick sniff test. And that sniff test is your primary photo attractive? If it's not, you're gone. So from a strategic perspective, you're not even leading with your best quality. If you're a man who's not particularly attractive, but you're funny, it's like, that's not really going to be showcased on your profile until she scrolls down and sees how you answer some of the prompts, in which case you've already lost her. So that's another reason why you should absolutely avoid dating apps, is because you are not putting your best foot forward. And the third reason why you should delete dating apps, and I believe this to be the most important one of all, is because you most likely want to use dating apps because you're afraid of talking to women in person. You're afraid of approaching a woman you don't know and creating conversation and attraction with her. You're afraid of befriending women and just having more of them in your life. And if this is you, if you're really coming from this place, then you're not really in your masculine essence. You're not tapped into your masculine core because you're given into fear. And as a man, especially to be a masculine man, you have to lean into your edge. Read The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. If you are a man and you're not currently on your edge, if you're not currently, befriending fear and looking to overcome challenges, then you're not really in your masculine. And that's primarily the reason why I tell men to avoid these dating apps, because you're trying to do things the easy way. You're viewing dating apps as an easy way to get some ass, and you're going to fuck yourself up because of, you're going to waste your time, your energy, your resources, and potentially damage your self-esteem. Because here's the thing, quote that I love. Here's a quote that I love. If you want an easy life, do things the hard way. If you want a hard life, do things the easy way, right? People are struggling on, most of these people who are bemoaning the dating market right now, I don't know of any study that backs this up, but I would 100% believe the majority of their experience is coming from dating apps. They're on dating apps. And dating apps is creating this false impression of what it's like to really date nowadays. So 100% you should avoid them. They're not good for you. They make you fearful. They make it so you're not putting your best foot forward. And even if you do get matches, you're matching with the bottom of the barrel women. So if you're not going to use dating apps, what should you do instead? What should a man do instead in order to meet the opposite sex? Well, I'm glad you asked, because there's two things I would recommend. The first thing, if you are really committed to this online way of life, which I believe that the best way to create a social life is to go out into the wild. But if you are really committed to this online game, then use social media, man. Just get on Instagram. The same best practices that apply to a dating app applies to Instagram, except it's not as competitive. It's not as competitive. It's a different contest. So you can 100% dial your profile in, get some good pictures, start posting on your story more to kind of show more aspects of your personality and your lifestyle. DM a couple of women up there and meet them that way. That is leagues above going on a desperate ass app trying to get these dumpster fire women. Okay. So that's option number one. Option number two is social circle. Just start. Like, one of the number one things I tell men who are trying to improve their social life, whether that be dating or making friends in general, is just to become the guy who talks to everyone. Just start giving good vibes, giving good energy to those people you come across. Talk to the cashier, talk to the hostess, talk to your Uber driver. You see what I'm saying? Just start being the guy who talks to everybody, because once you cultivate this identity as someone who can speak to anyone, it will be nothing for you to talk to that pretty young lady you see walking across the street or at Starbucks or at, Barnes and Noble. It'll be nothing. It'll be as easy as breathing, because you're already putting the reps in these other contests. And she'll also be more open to your advances, because she'll see you as the guy who's just talking to everyone, so you don't come across as threatening. You see what I'm saying? So these are the ways for you to start becoming that charismatic guy who has plenty of options. Me, as someone with a background in acting, I like to call this red carpet energy. You know what I mean? Everywhere you go, you're bringing this red carpet energy, this actor's persona, this leading man's persona to your interactions in such a way that, like, people can't take their eyes off of you. You just bring, people into your orbit in this way. This is the way, guys. This is how you start to be a more attractive guy. It's not asking for crumbs on dating apps. It's not settling for a chick who's a 4 or 5 on a dating app because those are the only chicks you can match with. It's like, no, want more for yourself. Get what you deserve. Put the reps in, put the time in, because once you learn these skills, once you dial things in this way, you'll have this skill set forever. And with that, I'm gonna holler at you later.